And John, sadly, another tragedy unfolding in Virginia. Two campus officers shot and killed at Bridgewater College yesterday after the school reported an active shooter on campus. Police arresting 27-year-old Alexander Campbell. He is charged with murder and is due in court this afternoon. The school president identified the victims as campus police officer John Painter and campus safety officer J.J. Jefferson. He says they were close friends and beloved by students and faculty.
Yeah, known there as the dynamic duo. Let's bring in South Carolina Senator Tim Scott with more on all of this. Crime has been a central issue for you and your constituents. Senator, at least 30 officers shot last month. That's up 67% over 2021, January. I mean, you could be forgiven if it feels like it's open season on police officers.
John, it puts an apple in my throat. It's just hard to imagine that people who do their jobs as a mission are being slain in our streets. It's devastating to watch, and frankly, the lack of enforcement of existing laws only makes the situation worse for our officers and the communities that they serve in. I can't imagine hearing anyone more clear than Mrs. Rivera as she spoke about the fact that the DA in New York not enforcing the laws makes it worse and makes it harder and makes it more dangerous for officers in New York City. That is playing out in progressive cities around this country, and that has to stop. The president should use his bully pulpit to tell DAs and prosecutors to enforce the laws in our country. That's why they're there. They keep our officers safe. It allows them to do their jobs. And my goodness, I don't want to see another funeral. I don't want to hear another widow.
Which is why it's so important. We know this is a priority on the part of the president and the White House. And Senator, I haven't seen you react to this, but it's gotten a lot of play. And it is the White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, on a podcast the other day, seemingly mocking our coverage as a network of this crime crisis. Here's Psaki.
And then on Fox is Jeanine Pirro talking about soft on crime consequences. I mean, what does that even mean, right? So there's an alternate universe on some coverage. What's scary about it is a lot of people watch that.
As you know, the Fraternal Order of Police, one of the largest police unions, came out and slammed those comments. This is no laughing matter, its president said. What did you think when you heard that? Is this White House taking this crisis seriously?
It's obvious that the White House lives in an alternate universe. Anyone who thinks that they have comments that are worthy to be heard, I don't understand where she's coming from, number one. Number two, thank God that Fox is actually covering the stories that matter to everyday Americans. Listen, they have been soft on crime, they have been bad on crime, and they've been terrible for the communities that they say they have in their focus. Crime in vulnerable communities is really bad for those folks who can't go anywhere else. And for the officers coming into those communities, we're seeing what you just put on the screen, a 67% increase in crimes against our officers, a nearly 50% increase in homicides around our country. What we need is a tough stance against criminals who are violent. We need a tougher stance from the White House, giving the officers the resources. Listen, this is the truth. The people who blocked police reform that would have provided more money for equipment, more money for training, the progressives. Yeah. I don't understand what in the world she's talking about. No one else does.
Well, the president's going to be going up to New York City tomorrow to rub shoulders with the new mayor, Eric Adams. I expect part of that will be to bolster his credentials on crime and the enforcement of the law. We'll see if it does anything to turn things around for him. Wanted to switch gears here, Senator, talk about a bill that you and Senators Cassidy and Burr are introducing called the Kids in Classes Act, which would allow parents in underprivileged communities, which you spoke about a moment ago, to use Title I funds to keep their kids' education going should their school close down because of COVID. Among the things it would provide for is they could use the money for curriculum and curricular materials, books and instructional materials, technological educational materials, tutoring or educational classes outside the home, private school tuition, testing fees, diagnostic tools, educational therapies for students with disabilities, all of which I imagine could be very helpful. But if it's just a short shutdown, like we saw in Chicago, could parents pull the trigger on some of those things? Because it seems to me, as a parent, it would take a while to get that arranged.
Well, yes. Here's what we need to do. We need to move in the direction of giving our parents the most choices possible so their kids have a better chance of success. What we've learned through the pandemic is a couple of years of learning loss impacts the rest of your life. And so if it takes 3 or 4 days of a shutdown to allow that money to be put into a backpack, so to speak, and taken with the kid, that's a good thing. The beginning of the process may be cumbersome, but the long view is that we need to empower parents, and Title I schools that are closed is the first step down the road of making sure that every child in every zip code receives a high quality education. It's in our long-term best interest, and it is in fact in the parents' portfolio of necessities. This is a necessity for the parents.
Senator, I spoke to James Clyburn last week, and he seemed to suggest when it comes to the Supreme Court vacancy and filling that seat that Michelle Childs already had the support of Lindsey Graham and yourself. I was wondering if you can confirm that here. Would she get your vote?
Well, listen, I think she has to go through the vetting process. The one thing I do know about Michelle is that she comes with people, Republicans and Democrats, universally praising her job as a judge. I have not talked about her as a Supreme Court justice because I want her to be vetted as a justice. So I am not committed to voting for her, but I am impressed with the fact that she is admired and respected by Republicans and Democrats in my state. And frankly, the one consistent word I hear about her is nonpartisan. She just follows the law. I may disagree with her. I want to be able to get into her records, into her rulings, and make the decision. But I have not made a decision to support her, and that's really important.
But I could suffice it to say you think she's an impressive individual. You're just not quite sure if you could support her for the Supreme Court?
Well, John, yes, she is an impressive individual. There's no question about it that her work as a state judge was celebrated on both sides of the aisle. Her work as a federal judge has been appreciated and respected, but you do have to get into the specificity of her rulings to have an appreciation for how she would serve. I will say one of the things I like about her the most is that she is a product of public schools, K through 12, public college education, and frankly, she has one of the best legal minds of anyone we've seen in a very long time, having started the process of looking through her records.
All right.
Senator Tim Scott, really appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.